Hello, and welcome to the Disability Myth. My name is Dominic, and I live with a fatal disease called spinal muscular atrophy. Together, my amazing caretaker, co-host, and best friend, Uriel, and I plan to debunk misconceptions, share our personal experiences, and shatter your expectations. But we're not stopping there. We're bringing in experts, thought leaders, and everyday people who are smashing through societal barriers, paving the way for a more inclusive world. Whether you're tuning in to learn, empathize, or simply to be entertained, the show promises to be an eye-opening experience that transcends boundaries. Because when it comes down to it, what makes us different is what makes us extraordinary.
Oh me, oh me, oh my.
Hey, yo.
Hey.
Welcome back to another episode of The Disability Myth.
With Dom.
We got to do handsome, humble, and hammy, bro.
Oh, yeah, handsome, humble,
Wow.
hammy host.
How many times have we done this, dude?
Like, you can multiply it actually. It's
Between
like 2
him-
times 10. It's 23. 24?
Between him forgetting the
25?
lines and me forgetting my nice fancy shirts.
Oh, you
Yeah.
forgot your polo. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It
No,
says
that's
never
my
give.
fault. Never give up. Yeah.
Good.
No, it's a really cool brand from
Um,
the Gwendolyn Strong Foundation.
yeah, here in Santa
Here
Barbara.
in Santa Barbara. Anyone ever comes out here, highly recommend checking out their products. And they actually started their own inclusive playground. They had the first inclusive playground built
Mhm.
in Santa Barbara. I'm not sure if it may have been all of California, which is really cool.
That is so cool.
Yeah, go check out the Gwendolyn Strong Foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been there before. Really cool people.
Very cool people.
Yeah, but
But,
handsome and
Humble,
hammy
hammy
host.
hosts,
Oh yeah.
Dom and Uriel.
Yeah.
Today, we're here
Oh,
with
my.
some really cool people from the world famous band Faulty Wires.
Oh, yeah. Very excited.
World famous.
Well, famous. Yeah, I was about to say. Which airports on that one, right?
You're in Georgia, you're in Colorado, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So we're in California, like at least nationwide.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, for sure.
we have the East Coast, the West Coast, and the Middle, so we're doing it.
Heck yeah. So I'm really excited to talk to you guys.
Oh, yeah.
Get to show you guys off, let the people get to know you, and yes, have some fun, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, we're happy to be here.
Let's do it.
All right, well,
We had a couple of icebreakers.
world-class icebreakers coming
Oh,
up.
gosh.
You guys get to okay, I want to do like one at a time. Let's start with Oliver. I want to talk to Oliver first. You get to
All right.
pick one musical artist, bring them back from the dead, go to their concert. Who do you pick?
All right. So I'm stuck between two, and just to do it like a more wider range of music, definitely Prince. Like I feel like going to especially one of his shows would have been crazy rad, crazy fun times. But then also like to be able to go back to like maybe around the 50s and do Frank Sinatra when Quincy Jones was conducting his orchestra and stuff would have been fucking insane. So that's the two I couldn't really pick from.
Frank Sinatra is always like I always see those videos on Instagram of the AI impersonation videos.
The multiple impersonation ones, yeah.
It's like Frank
That's
Sinatra
right.
is the highway.
Oh yeah.
But that's a real musician's answer right there.
Yeah.
Right there. Oh man, Prince. I'm like, oh, that's a good one.
Mhm.
Frank Sinatra. Oh man, 'cause especially to be at the Super Bowl performance when it was raining.
Oh yeah, when it was raining, it was
Bro.
dude just fucking owned the stage.
Right.
That'd be sick.
Just fully made it his own.
All right, what about you, Jacob?
But I have one obvious answer, but I want to see if Oliver knows it.
Obvious answer.
Yeah, it's an obvious answer. The only hint that I'll give you is it's not rock music.
Relationship test.
Right. When I say it, he'll know. When I say it, he'll know.
Wow, that's a pretty good. That's a good
I can't think of it off the top of my head.
All right, the correct answer, the only answer, DMX.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Oh man, dude. DMX. I wish I ever saw DMX
That's like totally not where my mind was going with it either.
Yeah.
Because I was more thinking of like bands that whether my parents or like his parents would have listened to, and completely didn't think of DMX.
No, man, don't read it.
Well, DMX,
Oh,
DMX is pretty hype, you know.
Yeah.
dude, his
It-
shows were insane too. Like he had actual mosh pits and everything.
Crazy. I don't know. Have y'all ever seen his performance at Woodstock '99? It's one of the craziest things that I have ever seen in my life. It's just one guy getting 100,000 people to say every word that they shouldn't say. It was hilarious.
Heck yeah.
He's a pastor now, right?
He's dead.
Oh, well, be after music.
Oh,
After
was he a pastor? I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I know he was like very religious, but he was sober. That reminds me of you. I did the Israel treatment at the other there, you know.
Can we just take a moment to talk about the Andre 3000 latest album?
Oh, that was actually like
Yeah. See, okay. Y'all want to talk about Atlanta artists right there. I know Andre 3000. Yeah, that thing's insane. Like the level of talent that guy has, and like the directions that he can take that talent. It's crazy.
Yeah, kind of. Everyone always usually forgets about him, and then he just comes back.
Right.
absolute titan of the industry, man. With like, oh
I remember like Uriel first told me that he dropped that album,
yeah,
and I was like, huh?
yeah, dude. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
move album. You're like, okay, jazz album, fine. And then you listen to it, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I did it. I did it.
Because I've always enjoyed jazz, and it's just like flute jazzy stuff, and it's like really peaceful. Just put in the background, like, yeah, what you listening to? Oh, Andre 3000, you know, you know,
Yeah,
oh, no, you know.
he headlined a jazz festival here in Atlanta like a month ago, and like yeah, like 100,000 people wanted to do the loop. It was crazy.
Yeah,
Buddy,
Yeah,
we love that for him. That's dope.
Yeah.
It's the dream.
who would you pick?
Who would I pick?
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think about my answer beforehand. Last.
Gosh, it's hard to decide, honestly, because my music taste is all over the place. It changes like every
Yeah.
week. Like, you know, like whenever I tuck you in the bed, sometimes I play.
He tucks me in the bed.
Yeah, well, sometimes I play like modern pop, sometimes like old school rap or just whatever I feel
And then
like.
the car, he just like bumps Claro and like sad girl music.
Yeah, hey,
Hey, dude, you gotta get it in there at some point.
I hit it all. Yeah.
dude, I can't decide, honestly. It's too many.
See, for me it was easy, but I thought on the it was so easy.
Am I basic?
Yeah, like Prince is always my go-to, just because that's what my mom always listened to growing up, and then just like fuck seeing his shows too. So I guess it's no-brainers for us.
Oh, Prince is easily like a top five, you
Yeah.
know, but I don't want to play copycat, you know.
Well,
But it's
I'm-
also great. You know, it's like, whoa.
My first two instincts are to say like Tupac and Michael Jackson.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I just follow that there. I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could do like bands where it's the era that they had set artists. So you could do like back when Metallica had Cliff Burton, or you can do when Foo Fighters had their drummer. Like,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
don't keep it to
Oh,
just
yeah.
the one
I
artist.
totally
Yeah,
do, like,
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So hype as if like there was like a you guys are familiar with like fantasy football?
Yeah.
Jake is. I'm not.
I am a religious fantasy football player. Yeah.
Totally be a fantasy.
Vans. Yeah. See, how would you score?
That's a good question. I don't know. I didn't think of that far ahead.
Yeah.
It's like a whole point system, huh?
Yeah. X amount of
Number one hits. See, that's already happened.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm gonna lock in my answer as as Tupac. It's Pac, dude.
I think
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
fuck,
I'm
you
going
got
to that one. Yeah.
those shows be fucking insane.
I think it'd be fun to check out like a prime Chicago show.
True.
You know?
See,
Ooh.
I'm gonna be honest. I respect the talent that it takes to do like photos like that, but I can't. I can't do it. It's not my vibe, you know.
Got you.
Live shows are
Yeah.
insane. The
Oh
choreography,
yeah.
I am behind it. It's like, whoa.
Right. And like
Mm.
the talent is undeniable, but it's just so theatrical, I guess. So I have a hard time connecting with it. I don't know. It's good.
It's very theatrical. They're like, in a sense,
Yeah.
you're acting on stage, you know,
Right.
trying to make it enjoyable for people.
Yeah. But
It's hard.
it's oh yeah. But undeniably.
You gotta get the stage fright out, you know. It's like, ooh. Like, oh gosh. Which is probably like the hardest thing when you're on stage. Like you practice and like, oh yeah, I got this, but then you're on stage just farting. I'm like, oh my God, like your hands are trembling. I'm like, whoa,
You
like
when
you're
you go
sweating.
you when you go to take any final exam.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Um, it's like, you know, like my hands normally don't sweat. They only sweat on stage when I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, and it's like, oh no. Like, oh, it's an awful feeling. But you get over it. Then we have another icebreaker question. You're trapped in the last video game slash TV show you watched. How screwed are you?
I guess first mine's pretty easy. Ironically, the last video game I played and the last thing that I watched on TV were basically the same. In that I watched a Formula One race yesterday, and then I raced Formula One the video game. So the real question is, if I'm driving the car, I'm probably fucked. But like, I don't know. I think that I'd be a pretty good engineer, you know? Like, hey dude, you're running out of fuel. Hey dude, I'm in my tires. You know, I can do all that.
Yeah, I love racing games. I used to play the shit out of Gran Turismo growing up.
Yeah, yeah,
That like it's pretty fun actually. Like they always like go crazy on the graphics
Dude,
for no
it goes-
reason.
it goes-
right,
They try to
Yeah.
make it as hyper realistic as possible. I'm like, whoa.
right. No, it's crazy. Like how I did is all they had to do was focus on like the horse and the car. So there's less things that they have to in detail to, so that you have tons of detail for that, you know?
I mean, well, best case scenario, you just kind of like bump and you just like have like kind of a softish crash. I mean, you
Right.
know, a soft crash.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, but yeah,
What's that? I think I do good as the engineer, but not as the driver.
it's fair.
All right, what about you, Oliver?
Got you. So yeah, keep in mind I had my folks visiting up here for the last 2 or 3 weeks. So as far as last TV show, I think it was, I don't know the name of it. It was some kind of sitcom, so nothing too hard there. But the last video game was actually the original like 1986 Legend of Zelda. So that would be really interesting.
That'd be fun. That'd be hype.
Oh yeah.
Glitching through walls and shit. So I think my fate would rely to how long that NES could probably last.
Yeah, well, like you'd be in the world, so you could just live a somewhat peaceful life in the kingdom of Hyrule. You
Pretty
know?
much.
Yeah,
Just a humble rupee merchant.
Well,
it'd be crazy picking up bombs and chickens and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, well, because you're not doing it in like you're first person. It's not like 16 or 32-bit to you.
yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
Well, if I know Uriel,
I'm screwed.
I know he's screwed.
Yeah, I'm screwed. Yeah, I'm absolutely. Yeah,
This guy
there's
plays
no way.
nothing but Elden Ring.
I gotta get ready for
Oh no!
Oh,
I gotta get ready for the deal. The DLC comes out in a week. We got 11 days.
there you
And
go.
I am insanely screwed because I don't think I'd be able to lift any of the weapons I use, like realistically. But I don't. It's
Yeah, I mean-
strength and the ability of my characters, maybe. But at that point, I would just, I don't know. just put down the sword and like, yeah, Elden Lord's not for me. Like it's easy when like I'm controlling it, but now I'm it. I'm the actual character. Like, nah.
I feel like that's dying too many times. I feel
Yeah,
like
you're
I
better
feel
off
like
just dropping your shit and running.
right, yeah.
So
Or
the
find a
scary
cliff.
thing about the game and the lore is that I can't die. If I die, I just come back.
Right.
Oh shit, that's
It's
right.
like, oh
See,
man.
but you have to die in that scenario, right? So you're like dying hundreds of times to unlock. That
I'm
sucks.
like in this endless loop and like I'm carrying a sword that's like 30 pounds bigger than me. And I'm
So
fighting
really,
gods. And like, oh man.
Wow, you can like barely lift my ass.
Yeah.
is that a really messed up Groundhog Day?
Oh God.
Yeah.
I'd probably give it a few good honest tries, like, oh, I'll try to fight and like get whooped. I'm like, all right, you know what? Gosh.
Well, I would be screwed too. I'm
You
a
played hard.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Ark Survival, which if
Oh yeah,
yeah,
everybody knows it. Yeah,
okay.
Get eaten by a
I
dinosaur.
finally found my people.
right.
Well, I think funny enough, even Legend of Zelda, all these games have like respawn mechanics, so you would just
Yeah,
die, just like in this infinite like death loop. It's like,
yeah. Well, like the lore of Ark, like you're just forced to respawn because you have to
Oh.
help save Helena.
oh, force the respawn, poor
Yeah.
guy.
Damn it!
You get your face torn off by a raptor. Oh gosh, dang it.
Not again.
Oh,
Get stepped on by a triceratops.
Yeah.
Curb stomped by a Stegosaurus.
Yeah.
Casually,
well,
respectfully.
I think the last show you watched is Star Wars, the Accolade one.
Oh, I was watching the Acolyte. Yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be.
How do you feel about that?
I liked it. I thought everybody was giving it too much shit online, to be honest. But, like,
Yeah.
I was telling Uriel, people were saying that the dialogue was stiff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, it was moments where it was stiff, but I feel like it was people just being racist towards like Soul's character because he was Asian.
Right. Yeah. No. I don't know. I didn't think it was bad, but it didn't necessarily like it. It feels like they found the formula in their TV shows where they make a very good TV show, but not like a great TV show. If that makes sense.
I was telling Dom that where they like because it's Disney and they want to maximize profits. They found this perfect in between where they put just enough big budget
Yeah.
to make a show that makes more money.
Right.
People will watch it because it's Star Wars. It's like this minimum maximum effort into the show.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it feels safe.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It's like there's nothing offensively bad about it at all, but there's nothing about it that I'm like, oh, that's a twist. That's a new idea, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think my favorite like shows from the Star Wars Disney universe are probably like The Mandalorian or
That's a good
The
one.
Book of Boba Fett once the Mandalorian comes back in.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Hard carried that show.
Yeah.
No, honestly, I think that the Mandalorian is kind of like a blessing and a curse because like it showed that their TV shows could be good and work, right? But I also think that that is what made them kind of play it safe after that, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess they started finding their like commercial stride.
Right, right,
Like, oh,
yeah.
I just like all the
Mandalorian right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a big Bad Batch enjoyer, Clone Wars enjoyer.
Bad Batch has its ups and downs, but
Yeah.
Clone Wars is very excellent. Like all their animated stuff, always like I just watch that most of the time.
Yeah.
I'll give Accolade a try though. It's only 2 episodes out. What?
Yeah.
We got like what, like
New
another
episode
8.
tomorrow.
Oh, there you go. So maybe I'll play with cooler ideas and I'll start to develop. So we'll see.
I need them to wake me up when they do a Knights of the Old Republic adaptation. That's kind of what I need.
That would be
you know?
insane.
Yeah, that's
I just
sort of
want
what.
I just want to see Darth Nihilus on the big screen.
Right, right.
Yep.
Like we talk about that, like with there's Darth Revan and like Treya and how he has
Right.
memory and all that.
Yeah,
Played both of the games, like, oh, that'd be so fun. But I don't know if there's like because they make Star Wars property and they try to somehow link it to the existing trilogy.
Right.
And it's maybe is that are they limited by that? Are they like not allowed to do older stuff because of copyright legal stuff? I'm not sure.
I mean, I think they can do whatever they want, but I think that it's more of a.
Right.
I think that the farther away from that, the more risky it is. I feel like the other issue is, as early as those games are, right? They play on the idea that like you are the player and you make the decision, and like a narrative TV show can't do that, you know. Like you gotta like have a story. You can't make it up as you go.
That's fair.
Yeah,
But there does exist a narrative, and I guess they'd have to pick
but then what? Right.
Yeah.
whether right.
Well, in like the Star Wars universe, the canon behind it all is just also broad and like
Yeah.
encapsulates such a wide range of time and space, literally and metaphorically
Yeah.
speaking.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
it's hard to stay consistent, I feel like, if you're looking at it from that standpoint. But
You would think you would just say like the hell with it, and like we don't have to make everything correlate or connect
Yeah.
to the trilogy, and just do like
everything can have its own kind of canon.
right.
Yeah.
'Cause
Yeah, and I think what people care about is the world and not necessarily the
exactly.
individual character, you know.
Yeah.
Like I know so far off the 2 episodes that have come out with the Acolyte, a lot of people have been like, "Yo, where's Yoda?" But, like chronologically speaking, he should still
Right.
be in this big picture here.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I loved about Star Wars and why I got into it. Is just the world, the actual world building and like
Yeah.
all this stuff. But then lately it's been very like character centric.
Yeah.
You know.
I just think that shows the disconnect from Disney and what they view Star Wars as, and what most of the fans view Star Wars as. You know?
Yeah, the whole like, oh my gosh, it's Glorb Shadow. Oh my god.
Right. Right.
All right, well, we've turned this into a giant nerd session, but
I know, Gary.
Yeah.
Care? Hey. Like we had a third question.
Yeah.
So if you-
yeah, final icebreaker. If you guys could go back in time and give a piece of advice to your younger self, what would it be? I'll let whoever wants to go first go.
Yeah,
I guess.
I was saying.
So we can go back and forth, or you can go. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'll read first, because I
Okay.
struggle with this one. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess in simplistic terms, just it's like don't say no to literally everything. Like enjoy being young and doing shit while you still can, and not get in terrible trouble, and just have fun.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's just, I've spent the last like 10 years trying to like stop being lazy. So I think that if anything, I go back in time and say, hey, if you take care of things when you're supposed to, you don't have to feel stressed when you're under the end, you know? I think that would be the thing that I would go back and say.
That's solid. Both solid answers.
Yeah.
I resonate with Oliver's, especially because I had a professor when I was at the local Hancock Community College. She gave me one really good piece of advice that has always kind of stuck with me. One of my communication professors, and she said, say yes. Like the more you say yes to opportunities, like the more you can really live your life and explore what it has to offer you. If you're saying
Right.
no all the time or doubting yourself, like you're not gonna live,
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're just stuck.
Yeah,
Well, if you say no to everything, you don't necessarily like learn anything new.
yeah,
You just kind of like stay the same. You know,
Right.
you know.
You don't learn, you don't get to experience anything at all. So
Right.
Well, and you might miss out on something that you actually really thoroughly love or enjoy if you're always saying no to it,
Exactly. Yeah, those are pretty good.
that was a solid icebreaker round.
That's
Right, yeah, I killed it.
Yeah.
Wholesome.
That's good.
All right, let's get into this. I wanted to kind of start with talking about, obviously, if you just tuned in, even though you're probably watching this on YouTube from the start, we're talking with Faulty Wires. We're talking with Jacob, the lead singer, and his fellow bandmate Oliver. And we kind of wanted to start out this conversation, after the important stuff like the nerd lore and stuff, by asking about, you know, as a disabled artist, what are some misconceptions that you feel like people may have towards you?
Yeah, just jumping in, you know, I think that I think the first broad misconception would maybe be that we exist at all, in the sense that, you know, quite often people will see disabled individuals and focus on the challenges that they may have that make them different, as opposed to the strength and the perspective that they may have to offer. And I would argue that art is all about presenting a perspective. Uh, and so I think that it's important to, I mean, establish the idea that there is disabled art and that there is something to be said about that experience, you know?
Yeah, no, I definitely feel that. And, I remember we talked to you before, um, when you were telling us about how you kind of got started with Faulty Wires and what made you start. You guys had this moment where you were like, there's nothing more punk than being disabled.
Right. Yeah, I'm far from the first person to say this, so it's not exactly an original idea, but it's one that holds truth. And it is that, like, what would be more punk rock anti-establishment than saying, hey, the world and society and the ladders to success are all inherently built to not work for me and people like me. Uh, and what is more of a uh, rebellious attitude than saying, fuck you, no, I'm gonna do it anyway, you know?
Hell yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, so yeah, I think that part of it is a desire to prove wrong. Uh, but I think that would only be the initial inspiration. Eventually, that fades, uh, and there has to be a purpose behind it. Uh, and thankfully, I think that with our project, we had that. And that whole idea of, uh, here is our disabled punk rock perspective, you know?
What's your 2 cents, Oliver? Like, obviously, if I'm not mistaken, you were a friend of Jacob's and
Y-
kind of like a caregiver like Uriel is to me. Is that right?
Yeah, I was. I actually Jake's younger brother Jared. Me and him are childhood friends, and so I've known Jake damn near majority of my life. And then eventually hit a part of my life I was going through some stuff and needed a job, and um, was he just hired me on as caretaker, and especially since shoot I've learned a lot of what had to get done as daily stuff. But that happened like in the middle of us writing and like everything with faulty wires. But I think like as far as like the most punk thing being the fact that it's like disabled and making the music is because music's supposed to not have a limitation. It's supposed to be a work of art. It's supposed to have creativity. So to have the idea of just like even thinking of limitation on it, like it's the punk idea of just like, no, like fuck that. I'm going to do my own thing and I'm going to work at it. And like multiple obstacles and figuring out stuff to make it work. And it's like, no, every which way, it's like, we can figure this out. We can make this happen. And sure enough, we did.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
wow.
It's crazy how like similar.
Yeah, not too dissimilar, huh?
Yeah.
Where you were in Oh, would you say desperate? You were definitely like in
I was in
need.
need of another caregiver,
Yeah,
and he hated working where he used to work.
yeah, and it worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, now that I'm sure you're well aware, but like hiring caregivers isn't easy. Uh, it becomes a job in its own, and the fact is, like, to be a productive like member of society, it's help that we need to function, right? And so yeah, I mean, getting to hire a friend and Oliver, uh, it was at least for me. I know it doesn't work for everybody, uh, but for me, it was nice to know that like this is a person that already like cared about me without me paying him, you know? And so there was already that love and care and affection, that I think made it work even better, you know?
Yeah, no, I feel that for sure. Like before Uriel started working for me officially, he didn't do as much as does now,
Right.
Right,
but like still just that love, care, and affection is there. Like we
Yeah.
would go out and like he would get my straw out of my bag so I could have a beer and like
right.
Dude, same.
Yeah.
As I said, it's not too dissimilar.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the chemistry already existed there. It's not like, oh, you're hiring a new nurse or somebody you don't know.
Yeah.
And it's like awkward for a while.
I mean, straw serving is a big obligation. It's a big responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Like whoever
Right.
touches the straw holds all the power, you know?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I think what we went through, because there's a lot with like Jake's family and also even just all of our friends and stuff, is that it's like we're always kind of used to doing the smaller stuff. And so you kind of got to take a step back. It's like, okay, I'm the one on shift, guys. Like, let me do it.
Yeah. The coolest thing, well, hard, cool, depending on how you want to interpret it, was how humbling it was to take care of another human being, like a whole, like, another man, and realizing, like, whoa, you get humbled real quick, and like, oh shoot, and you start like questioning like everything, humanity, everything, government and stuff, and realizing like, wow.
You had a whole ass existential crisis.
Well, it's it's like, because caretaking, it's essentially, a lot of the times it's a family member or friend, and they're
Mhm.
giving up a part of their free time all this time to just help you
Mhm.
with all this love and care, of like, and it's just, taking care of someone. People think they can do it, but then when you actually start doing it, they realize like, whoa, it makes it a lot easier
First
because
first night of him working with me, do I really gotta like help you piss?
yeah,
Right.
yeah, and then you get over that relatively because like, all right,
Right. Then it just becomes a thing.
Dude,
Yeah.
I think the first week I worked for Jake, he was sick. Like, I think he had the flu.
Yeah, alright. Small tangent here. I have a really bad habit of hiring people and then getting like sick the very next week for some reason. Like it happens at an astounding rate. And I have no clue why.
I feel like it's an SMA thing. Like
Yeah.
I've noticed it too when new people start working with me, usually within the first couple of weeks, I do tend to get sick more often.
Did it happen
Right.
with me?
Yeah, I did. Because like
It did?
when you started
Wow.
working, I got sick for like a month or two, remember?
Shoot.
See, for me, it's a variety of things. It's like it's not always a lung thing. It's not always a stomach thing, but it's always something.
Oh,
Yeah.
because I know with Dominic, stress really like triggers a lot of
Like congestion and
yeah,
stuff.
a lot of
Yes.
like symptoms for him.
Yes. Oh
So
my
maybe it's
God,
like
yes.
the stress of having a new caretaker,
Right.
and then
Well-
like, that back and forth, and like letting them know like what you
Well,
want, what you
And I
need.
think too, it's just like somebody new that you're not used to.
Yeah.
Like, my grandparents or whoever my nurse already was, like they've always been around me. And my immune system is probably like used to their germs and whatever you want to say.
Right.
My cooties.
The
Ah.
cooties, yeah. So like when someone new comes into the house, into the equation and starts like, interacting with you, I feel like it's just kind of bound to happen.
Yeah.
Start because you've been
Mm.
working with me close to 2 years now,
Yeah.
and I haven't been sick since like that first year.
come this year, December, I think 2 years.
Yeah,
Or October maybe. I forget
October, yeah,
when.
yeah.
But yeah.
But so another kind of point I wanted to bring up that we have talked about before was you had mentioned that regarding starting Faulty Wires, there was a lot at play there. It's just kind of like this long story, and feel free to kind of share it.
Yeah,
But you had mentioned that you were afraid of not being able to execute on such a big scale. So yeah, can you touch on that a bit?
yeah. So, Ollie, feel free to jump in whenever you want here.
Yeah, I'll
Uh,
jump in when it makes sense.
yeah. So basically, I think the original impetus, as I think I mentioned as well. Uh, one of my favorite bands, uh, is a punk band called PvP. Basically, I mean, they're from Toronto. Uh, they were releasing a new album. And in anticipation of that album, they put out a new single. Uh, Now they didn't do it the normal way. Where you put a song out and there it is, right? Uh, Instead, they put out the lyrics and the chords, and they asked their fans to recreate the song without hearing it, right? So that gave me the idea to hit up Ollie and say, Ollie, we're gonna do this as horribly as we can. Like, we're gonna make the worst sounding song ever. Uh, and yeah, I mean, Ollie, how did that go?
And I mean, always down to make music and have
Yeah,
jam sessions. So
we
and get to
do.
hang out with people. So
The whole idea is we didn't ever get that done.
no, we never did.
Yeah,
What ended up happening was I had an acoustic guitar at the time, and so I just bring that over, and I don't even know if we made a solid attempt, but like we kind of jam out, play songs that we liked, and then uh I think this was around the time I might have started working for
yeah.
Jake, but because I was the one that drove us to Wendy's, and while we were at Wendy's,
No, hold
Jake,
Of
on.
course, the story
Why,
involved.
why were we over the windows on it?
why were we? I
Uh,
don't
Wendy's
actually
was some
remember.
beef and milkshake.
The reason why is, unfortunately, we've been up late the night before, having a little too much to drink, and we needed to go out and get some greasy food to take care of the hangover. You know?
Oh yeah, that's right. We were
Yeah.
hungover.
Anyway, hold on.
Yeah, so and then while in the drive-through, Jake asked me, he's like, "Hey, if I hum something, do you think you could try to play it on guitar?" I was like, "Sure." And he ended up humming what became the main riff of DUI.
That's dope.
Um,
And we
Yeah,
pretty much after that just started going crazy with it.
wow.
and so the thing that Oliver doesn't know at that time is that I had already had the idea at the rest of playing around that maybe we should try making some music. But I was already doing a lot of punk shows at the time, and you know, I really I saw a lot of uh cohesiveness between the ideas presented by the bands that I was seeing, uh, and the kind of things that I wanted to talk about related to disability.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, the truth is, like, around that time, uh, I already had come up with ideas for, like, 3 or 4 songs, and the album cover, and the first single, and the first music video. And I did all that in a week, maybe.
That's wild.
And you know, not that that was the final version of those ideas, but having those ideas, I worried about whether I can make it happen. You know, I knew that I would like to see this in the world. I just didn't know we could do it, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, and so, yeah, I mean, at that point, shoot, how long did it take us to write, 5 songs? Or songs?
I'd give it maybe a year and a half or two, like, or like at least to where they were complete, song structured, and a passable demo. But it was just because a lot of the time we were thinking of either riffs, like whether it be I thought of something or Jake had a melody in his head that I would try to mimic on guitar, or Jake would have lyrics. And then after probably about 8 or 9 months of doing that, kind of sat and looked at what we had, tried to combine and actually structure everything properly, and then started thinking of different ways to get Jake to do vocals on it. So I'd say, yeah, probably about a year and a half or two.
Yeah, and back then we were recording a lot of demos. They were really rough. They had a lot of the ideas that would end up becoming our EP. And so we knew that we had a whole foundation, but we had a good idea for something that we wanted to see. And I think it was about that time that you started heading to Colorado, right?
Yeah, I thought you started kind of getting the ball rolling with like actually officially getting it produced and stuff, like I think it was like right up before I left, because that's when we took like the different pictures and stuff.
Yeah, so
But the actual motion of me moving, yeah, was around that time.
yeah, it's kind of crazy. So okay, we didn't have anything officially recorded yet, right? We had an election of demos, but I knew that I wanted to get the album overdone before I even went to Colorado. Because I knew exactly what we wanted to do, right? And so, yeah, we actually did the album over before we recorded anything. And I was very happy that we could get that before we went out of town. Uh, and it was like that, and the demos that we had, and a few other assets that I used as uh, a patent, if you will, to kind of look for producers to work with. Because I knew at that point with Ollie out of town that we needed that to get it done, you know?
Yeah.
Like like a big push.
Yeah, and so basically, it took me about half a year to find the right guy. And then, you know, as I did, it was just knocking out piece by piece, you know. We did drums, and then guitar, and then bass, and then I did the vocals last. Uh, and I did that for maybe a year and a half after all of her left.
Gotcha. So
Yeah,
that's something I kind of want to touch on more.
right, yeah.
Like Oliver, you had mentioned that when you guys first started out and were making the demos, that you had to figure out a good way for like Jacob you to do vocals and everything. And that was one of my questions I wanted to make sure I asked you was like, what are the challenges if it was just being a lead singer?
I mean, obviously, it's not the same as just like if I were to sing a full verse or something. Like, y'all's lungs can only do as much as it allows. So it was a battle of, okay, where can we cut and like kind of blend, and with my minimal knowledge of Logic at that point, and like trying to figure it out. It's like, okay, if we kind of cut it here, do this at many measures, you kind of don't really hear a clip, and like clipping where it's like you can hear a clear cut in the audio. And then it was just experimenting with like, all right, so what if Jake tilted back in his chair? What if Jake laid down with a pillow under his back? What if he was on his side?
Yeah.
Like it just in any which way we could think of or he could think of that might work.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, but there was literally a time when we were recording a demo here at my apartment on my house, right? And, alright, I was having a real hard time getting loud enough for a part that I wanted to be loud at, right? And so my ridiculous logic was that if I had pressure on my chest while I laid down, I could force the air out of my body louder, essentially. And so I had my friend take a book bag and
Yep, I remember the book bag.
yeah, you tell it.
Well, it was also like because you also want to have a rasp to it too, and like naturally you do that by tightening your diaphragm. So obviously, all right, what's other ways we can do that? And also to help amplify and push air. So we had an idea of putting the backpack down. Then we had it on your chest. We had it on your lower belly at one point.
What do you put in it? Do you remember?
No, it could have been. It could have either been bricks. It could have been like Xbox controllers.
I'm not gonna lie. I think it was like 12 packs of Mountain Dew.
It could also have been Mountain Dew at one point.
Yeah.
It was just whatever like had enough weight and like, but also if we could shift the weight at the same time to where we know what area it is working, so we try it that way.
Dude, I fucking love the innovation. That's so hype.
You gotta use what I use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a thing that I like to do is figure out how to make it work my way. You know?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're the same way.
Yeah.
Dude, it's very relatable. It's like whenever like this setup, anything we do, whether it be like healthcare or most like even like washing your hair, it's a lot of communicating and a lot of
the word
what's gonna work.
The word that comes to mind relevant to your story about the bag,
Yeah.
what he'd mentioned, ghetto.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's always just a little ghetto, a little Mickey Mouse. Like,
Hey.
you work with what you got.
Or dare I say, it's very pop rock.
Hell yeah.
Dude, and
Yeah.
one of the funniest things is when we do our ghetto routine in public.
Yeah.
Because it works. And it's what works with him and it's what's most comfortable and it like hurts him minimally. And then the nurses see us do it and they're just like, what the hell?
Right.
It's like, oh, it's always so funny getting weird looks. It's like, what are you doing? I'm like, what works? You know?
Oh yeah. I mean, like, yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, sometimes, like, I have you guys could see my joystick right here from my chair.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes when my arm is in this position, I can't lift it back up to my joystick.
Right.
Because it's a lot of weight. So, like, it's gonna move my arm. Show the people.
Oh yeah.
Just slap it around. No, you usually like throw it. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. No, dude. Oh my God. Like, this is so relatable. I mean, I'm sure Oliver and I have like 8 or 9 of those.
Well, yeah, now that they say that like the arm thing, I'm like, that's probably what people think of whenever like we have to push your like because you want your head like to the right or something.
Yeah.
And like it looks like we're just gonna shove you out of the chair.
Yeah. Or like
when he needs help, they're like, oh, can you adjust me real quick? And I'm just like pushing him and like twisting his body. And be like, what are you doing? Oh, he's adjusting his ass in the seat.
Yeah, that's like, why are you beating the shit out of him?
Like I have to like have my ass in a certain position on my seat to like
same.
Yeah, Jake does too.
Yeah, like because if you don't have your ass correctly positioned, like your spine's all messed up, you can't move your arms correctly.
Right, move your arms. Yeah, I do. Alright. If I'm not sitting correctly, I have a hard time talking. Right. Like it affects everything.
Yeah, that's why the ass position is so important.
Yeah,
so, like,
dude.
So like for me to get comfortable in my chair, I don't know about you, but I have people literally just give me wedgies by like pulling my pants, my waistband on my pants to get my
Right.
ass back in the right
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah. See,
And so
I have a back race, so they just grab the back race and yank me up in the air.
Yep, it
Okay.
literally looks like we're about to just full like uplift him into the into the air out of the chair.
Oh yeah.
But just because between like the strap and the chair, or just how it's tightly positioned, it's like no, you actually have to kind of pull or push that hard,
Yeah.
otherwise you're
Yeah.
not doing anything.
Yeah, and it's people underestimate how much energy it takes because it's such an awkward position to be in.
Right.
I'm
Mhm.
like shit, I'm at front, I'm like in the weirdest position to just like essentially give you a wedgie to like get you
Yeah.
properly adjusted in. That sounds so bad, but like trust me, I'm not hurting them.
Right.
It's ghetto, it's normal, you know.
No, dude, I totally relate.
Very punk rock.
Oh yeah.
Right,
Um,
exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing is like it's a million little those things. You know, it's figuring out how to get that last little bit of performance. And I think I told y'all, but like uh when we were recording, like I'm not gonna lie, like at times it hurt. Like it wasn't easy to do. Recording here at the house for the demos was easy. We could play around, we could adapt. Uh, when it came time to record in the studio, you're in a vocal booth, so I couldn't lay down, I couldn't do the variety of things, and so it's trying to mimic that even when you can't do it, you
Yeah.
know? I'm sure you can relate.
It's just not like being outside of your natural kind of environment, like adjusting
Right.
to a different space.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when I was when I was taking guitar lessons, and I was practicing and stuff, all the old heads would always tell me to just practice slowly. Because what happens when you take a solo, when you do something, they always say, "Oh, simpler is better." Because like, when you're in the recording studio or on stage, like when you're not in your natural environment, it's just like, oh, you go fight or flight mode, and you just like,
mm,
ooh, and it's just like all of a sudden, like you can't do it. It's like, oh shoot, which is why, like sometimes the simplest, heaviest riff is the best one.
Right.
yeah.
It's like,
I don't know if you say that. I kind of, it reminded me of a similar moment for me. Uh, I was in there for 15 hours in 2 days, right? And so by the end of it, you're getting kind of tired. Uh, when I get tired, and maybe you can hear a little bit here, but I have a hard time speaking super clearly. Uh, it's a little bit tough. And I found that I had a few instances where I had to rewrite a lyric because I no longer could say it as clearly as I wanted to in the way that I wanted to. Um, and that trade-off is very interesting, you
Can
know?
you give us like an example?
yeah.
Yeah, okay, so, on Hold On Tight, right?
Yeah.
Uh, there's a line, where I say, the world's on fire, and life ain't fair, sometimes you just need someone who's there. Uh, Originally, the line was care with a C, and I couldn't say it. Uh, yeah, I literally couldn't say sometimes you just need someone who cares. Uh, so I had to change it to who's there.
Well,
Uh,
we kind of, sorry to jump in, but
yeah, yeah,
we had the same thing when we were trying to figure out time signatures too, because it was also trying to figure out, is this too fast? Is this, if we slow this down enough, can you syncopate words properly to have that come out clear enough?
Yeah.
So I know we already did that with the demos. I have no idea how that looked like when you went to record stuff.
it was a lot of saying the same line over and over and over.
Yeah, because like, well, I know the struggle relative to guitar playing, but
Yeah,
singing is a
Yeah.
whole body thing and like the
yeah,
syncopation, rhythm, all that. It's just like,
yeah,
oh God. Especially trying to get to like the tone that you want from
right.
the human voice. And it's just like, oh man, I
Mhm.
got 5 hours of sleep. I can't hit that
Yeah.
tone. I'm like, shoot.
Well,
Especially
yeah, yeah,
especially if
just
your
sorry.
diaphragm doesn't work properly.
Yeah, that
Exactly. Well, it's like you're out 5 hours of sleep, and you've been doing 8 hours already that day. You know what I'm saying? So, and all right, I say all that to say, when you're out the road around, it is the most amazing moment. Like when you can't figure it out, and then it comes to you. I love it. It's so right.
Mhm.
oh that epic eureka moments like, yo.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
And that's so cool because like something I wanted to talk about too is, we touched on the fact that there's not a whole lot of visibly disabled artists.
Sure.
And you are one of the obviously few,
Sure.
and you
Thank
have
you.
all this knowledge and like experience that you can pass on to other people now, which I just think is dope. That if they want to like get into making music, if they look up Faulty Wires, they'll see someone that looks like them, that
Right.
has that knowledge and like experience that you just shared with us.
Well,
So
and my expectation is that the next generation of disabled artists are gonna be even better, but they're gonna grow up knowing that they can do it. Like
Mhm.
for me, I figured out that I can do it, but I mean, truthfully, I'm not the greatest singer in the world, right?
right.
And I don't think that that matters in the context of the music that we make, right? Uh, but I can't wait to see that disabled person that has undeniable talent. And I know they're out there, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just really think that, uh, I don't know, but, yeah, maybe they can take something from what we did, you know?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Because I was just thinking of it as like, oh, the complexity of it. Because just having the chord structure and then being able to hit the pitches while singing, and then the time signature, oh, it's all crazy, man. I'm
Well,
like thinking about it. It's like, wow,
and it
cool.
depends too on like your level of disability.
Yeah.
right.
Like for people like us
Yeah.
with SMA, we're never gonna have the best voices, I don't think. I
Well,
mean,
it's fair,
I
yeah,
think I had a shot before I got a hole in my throat, but
fair,
that's
yeah.
just me.
I think you sound fine.
Oh,
Yeah, I think so, right.
Yeah, we do car karaoke all the time.
hell yeah, dude.
Dude, you gotta do car karaoke.
Yeah, it's fun.
Sing along to Clara.
Yeah, and then roll down the window and like scare people.
Hey, I was bumping DUI the other day.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, man.
On the way to get your hair cut.
No, that was on the way to get my chili cheese fries.
Oh, hell yeah. There you go.
I
After your
remember, yeah.
I
I,
think me and Jake's or when we did carpool karaoke was either just like uh Frank Turner or Jeff Rosenstock, because I think when I got hired, you went through a huge Jeff Rosenstock phase.
oh my
That never
God, I
that never
love
went
him.
away because you still love Jeff Rosenstock.
God, I love that man. Oh my God.
This is more of like a nerd question, but how'd
Yeah.
you Oliver, how'd you go about finding the riffs and the little fills for
So as far as like the riffs and everything like that go, so prior to uh when we started, or I guess around the time that we kind of started this, I went to audio production school. So I kind of learned a lot more basic knowledge with like music theory, and got like different, like easier with like recognizing notes and stuff. And so when Jake would kind of think of an idea, and then I can already mentally kind of think, I'm like, all right, if I jump this like half an octave or a full octave up or down, how's that going to change it, and how's Jake wanting it to go? Like a good example actually is Sketch. Sketch had like want to say like 3 different variations of like the main riff until we kind of just sat there. It's like, dude, it just needs to be simplistic. And it was in standard at the time. And then I was like, this would sound so much better with how you're doing the vocals if we kind of just dumbed it to half a step down, just so it kind of blended with his monotone voice a bit better. And then the song just wrote itself.
That's dope.
Oh, that's your favorite too, I believe.
Yeah, Hang On Tight Sketch is my favorite song.
Yeah.
Off the
Yeah.
bat.
Yeah,
It's
I
definitely the
love it.
funnest to make.
Yeah, I did coming back to it for me. That's probably my favorite as well.
Yeah, and well, like it's just the messages in it, you know? Like
Right.
it's so relatable, I think, for people across the spectrum of disability, especially that need help from other people, that you just like you get attached to your caregivers.
Right.
Like to go back to what we were talking about with our experiences being similar. Like,
Mm.
yes, I need help and like a caregiver, but like we're homies first.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
we always tell people the story about how we first kind of interacted, like met each other. I think we told Jacob, but yeah, for you, Oliver, I was in like multimedia class. This is
In high school.
Okay.
Yeah.
and I sat with like a few mutual friends between him and I, and he just pulls up to our class even though it's not his class.
Yeah. I had an off period at the time.
And so he just like sat with us,
Yeah.
and he like sat next to me, and he like puts his hand on my leg. He's like, "Hey yo, can you feel that?" I was like, "Shit, take me out to dinner first, bro."
Yo. Hey, at least you had the unback, right?
Yeah,
Having
yeah,
the
the comeback.
Dude, having the unback is what makes that moment, you know?
It's like
Definitely.
I always cringe at that moment because it's like I was like young and like in high school and like dumb, but at the same time I'm like, I wasn't really like worried. I was more curious than anything,
Tell me you're ableist without telling me you're able.
Wait.
Right. See, what I like is you didn't overthink it,
Yeah.
right? And you weren't paralyzed in the sense that you still interacted. Like you didn't say, "Oh no, I can't do that because this, that, or the other." You know?
Mm.
Well, either or is gonna like, well, either he feels it or not. So like,
Or he has this bad habit, good or bad habit, depending on how you look at it, of letting his intrusive thoughts win. So
not all the time. It's cool. I've always been a very curious person, like I don't mind asking questions or being like, oh,
Yeah.
excuse me, like, how does that make you feel? Just
Yeah.
like I'll like off the riff, like why not? Because you never know, right? That's just like, and like for correction, I think it was closer to your knee than your leg. It's like
isn't
that.
the knee part of my
Well, to
leg?
be fair, it's all knee right here.
It's all knee.
Yeah, it's all knee.
Oh, man.
All right. Oh, guys, do you have any like planned future projects? Like, you guys just released Punk Isn't Dead, but maybe it's disabled. Like, what's the plans for the future?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we want to get back to writing music. We're kicking around a few ideas right now in terms of songs that we would want on our next project. It took 6 years to get the other project done. My hope is that we can figure out how to do it a little faster this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, we're really excited. Beyond that, I haven't really told Ollie this yet, but I've kind of set internal goal. I want to do a show next year at some point.
All
I was
right.
gonna say, like, have you
Yeah.
done lives before?
Not yet, but we
He
want
hasn't.
to.
I played in like some metal bands in high school, so I have like a tiniest bit of experience.
Mhm.
Enough to know that it's like this isn't just going to be. I mean, it's the same thought process going into it, but there's other obstacles to think about with doing a live show with it.
Right.
We'll fucking figure it out.
Right, and obviously
the
there
book
would be
Lean him back, book back.
Right.
There it is.
Yeah.
Exactly,
Iconic.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. No, and the truth is, I know that if we set our mind to it, we can figure it out. And look, right now, all it is I don't have any ideas on how to do it yet, but that is the hope,
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I think as long as Future involves still making music of Jake and just having fun with it, like that's pretty much all I'm hoping for and what I expect.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's all you get. That's all you want, just to have fun with,
Yeah, man.
just like do it.
Yeah,
It's
it
always
Mhm.
vibes.
right. Oh, sorry, yeah, sorry. Well, yeah, right. Just keep doing it,
Yeah, and it's just like, but like that first album, like those songs, like that sounds about right because like, it's the first time you're developing these ideas and you have like so
Right.
much to say and it's constantly changing.
Yeah,
That you've gone through the process, you have a better understanding of yourself and said process, and now you can kind of
right.
like, okay, not necessarily like churn them out, but kind of have a better idea of how to navigate your creative ideas.
Yeah, I think it's a matter of like finally turning off. All right, we need to stop writing and actually see what we have and work with it and condense and condense. Because I think we did that way for way too long. Because I think we had like 50 or 60 just demos between riffs, vocals, whatever that we had to. It's like, okay, how the hell does all this like combine and shit?
Right.
So now having a better idea of it and like knowing when's the right time to turn off just the full creative aspect and then just like get into blending everything properly.
Yeah.
And for me, I have to imagine that we've matured the songwriters a little bit. I mean, we wrote a lot of the songs on this EP 4 or 5 years ago. So much has happened in between now and then.
Yeah.
I feel like a completely different man than I was then. And so I'm very excited to hear the music we write next. Because I'm not okay, I'm not at all ashamed of DUI. I don't know if it's a song that 30-year-olds think, right?
Yeah, I know, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I want to see what now,
Yeah. Yeah, like
Yeah,
you said, that's a big time gap. Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Well, it's always like, and then like it's briefly on the outline, but it's this idea of, because I think it's kind of cool if an artist does own their music and they want to rewrite or just kind of like add stuff to pre-existing songs. They do that a lot where like they take old song, like artists take old songs and like maybe they change a lyric or two, they just turn it into a jam song.
Right.
Like it's always like evolving, like it's like jazz standards. People
Yeah.
never play them like exactly the same.
Well,
Right.
I guess my thought is that, okay, DUI is a perfect song for 23-year-old, 24-year-old Dick, right? But I don't hate it at all. I think it has validity. My mind is in a lot different place than, oh, let's get so I can't drive my chair. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, that's what I also like to point out. Like, I appreciate the music video, like the
No, it's
disclaimer
fun,
at the
yeah.
start. Like, please don't be a douchebag and drive drunk.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, I think I mentioned it to you last time, but, me and Ollie, we love Jackass, so we were really looking for a Jackass kind of vibe with
Yeah.
that video,
I'm also pretty sure we watched Jackass one of the times that we were taking a break from writing.
Had to be.
Oh yeah, because it was exactly just like the intro to Jackass. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
He did the full.
right.
It was just perfect too. Like even the flag waver, the dude in like the booty shorts. Like
Alright. So, just to connect the dots, right? That is my little brother and Oliver's best friend.
that's
Damn
amazing.
straight.
Yeah.
No, I think I'll just refer to him as the dude in the booty shorts.
Hey,
As he probably would want you to.
yeah, he would love that.
oh, that's good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, very fun music video. Yeah. Oh man.
All right, guys. Well, I think we kind of ran through most of our questions that we had. Anything else you guys want to like bring up or plug for yourselves? Like
Yeah, I mean, other than the EP, and not particularly, but yeah, I mean, check the EP out if you haven't. I mean, obviously, thank you for having us on. And, it's so funny how similar our stories are in the sense of, making fun who with your friend, you know? I really like that, you know?
Yeah, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think we could all have a jam session together one day.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
It's like the similarities hit me like a truck where it's just like, oh, I started working for you, and then you had an idea. I'm like, oh, why not? We spend so much time with each other just talking and like, oh, let's try it out, you know?
Like, let's just talk
Right.
professionally. Like, let's just be professional talkers. It's just-
Hey, if you can make it work, do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun, yeah.
Yeah, it's fun just getting to meet cool ass people like you guys, and
That's the
Yeah.
best part, you know, like
Right.
planning and like getting to meet new people like every week. It's like this is dope, you know? It's like yeah.
Right. No, it's sweet.
all right then. Well, if you guys liked what we had to say today, please leave us that rating, perhaps a nice little review on Apple Podcasts, and be sure to share with your friends and family. If you're not already, be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and the Tube at The Disability Myth, all one word.
And make sure to check out Faulty Wires.
And check out Faulty Wires.
Hey.
Punk isn't dead,
Yeah.
but maybe it's disabled. Their brand new E EP.
Epic.
Okay, so.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Ah,
There you go.
I did it.